Yes, you guys, how you all doing today? I'm in EFC, this is broughtons CV, and today we're here to discuss all the latest news and developments surrounding bidding news to buy the club. In today's video, I'm going to discuss the short list of candidates and consortiums that progressed to the second round, candidates that failed, and of course all the latest news surrounding what exactly is happening at this point in time. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Smash the like button to let you guys know very quickly too. Tomorrow I want to release a video just discussing and talking about who my preferred candidates to buy the club should be. I'm going to go into detail behind, their philosophy, their strategies, their experience, and why I feel that could benefit us and even potentially, take us to a new level. So I hope you guys make sure you stay tuned for tomorrow. But before we get into anything, I need to get one big plug out of the way first. Of course, you guys know that I'm part of BetVictor's Last Fan Standing show on the YouTube channel, where we discuss all the biggest and latest footballing topics from throughout the entire week. With this episode that was released this week, there were some very interesting conversations, and one in particular was over Harry Maguire and whether he should still retain his spot in the England national team. I'm going to play you guys a very brief clip.
What's your opinion of Maguire, and should he be anywhere near the England team?
I'd probably buy that if it was if the sentence included Man United, but when it says England, I feel like you should suffer with me. So I'll get rid of that. But no, on a serious note, I do think that's a little bit too harsh. Look, I don't think he should be Manchester United captain. I don't necessarily think he should be starting every week for Manchester United. But one of the things he has been is he's been pretty good for England.
Now, personally for me, if you're going to represent your country, you need to have some consistent form behind your name. I think it's really that simple, and it should really be that fair. And in my opinion, I feel like Maguire's form has not only been quite indifferent from throughout the entire season, but recently it hasn't been of the standard that you'd expect for someone who has, that type of clout in the England national team. I understand what Southgate does. He likes to have like a core set of players that he feels, it's not just about individuals and their talent. It's about how the group and team unite together, which is another important facet that I feel like we as fans don't necessarily care about as much. However, there's many talented guys who are showing much more consistent form. And when you consider guys like Tomori not being part of the national team, even though he's one of the best defenders in Serie A this season, to be part of the national team, show consistent class and ability. And I just think currently Maguire has had some difficulties at this point in time. But regardless, you guys, they're my thoughts and opinions. If you want to watch the full entire episode, there is going to be a link in the card above and in the description below. So right now, getting back to the video. So right now, let's discuss the news. And currently, shortlist of bidders have been informed who's going to the next round of negotiations, and of course who have failed to progress as well. Currently, it's believed that bids between 2.5 to 2.75 billion will be the winning numbers needed to buy the club. Crazy amount of money. It's so crazy how much clubs are worth these days. But anyway, RAINE Group have informed successful bidders who are going through. And interestingly enough, we have two confirmed names. Todd Boehly, and of course the consortium from Sir Broughton as well too, as well as a mystery third bidder who has been literally hiding in the shadows, that's literally not made their intentions obvious in public. They've also progressed through to the next round. So who is that currently? None of us have a clue at all. It'll be interesting to find out eventually when the reports do come out though. But it really is it's just crazy times at this club currently. It's believed that new ownership could take control of the club by the end of April, so it's not that far ahead now. And successful bidders that have gone through to the next stages of negotiations, essentially purchasing agreements have been made, which means that they will have an opportunity now to hold discussions with key officers at the club. So that would include individuals like Thomas Tuchel, Marina, Guy Lawrence, plus many others as well too. Currently, Marina Granska, Bruce Spark and Tenenbaum are working alongside RAINE to analyse all the offers in great detail. Now yesterday, when news was coming out over successful bids and failed bids, a lot of it was quite convoluted at times. A lot of it was quite contradictory at times too. So more time was needed to just really analyse, okay, once the dust has settled, what is the final piece of information? So we know the two unsuccessful bidders have come from the Saudi media group as well as Nick Candy's Blue consortium group as well too. When it comes to the Saudi media group, I think a lot of us just kind of assume that they had just tons of money, and I think that's why that appeals to most of us, because we're thinking The more money there is, the more investment there's going to be in our club. However, it was found out in the end that the Saudi bids was not the best financial offer, and it was not as competitive as others, as it relied heavily on debt financing, so of course by the club. Ideally, we don't want to be in more debt. Of course, I get it, it's improve. You have to spend money and invest to make that happen. But I think when you have much more lucrative bids being made by other high profile people, I don't really see the benefit, of course, accepting anything like that. Now, the argument was the fact that, okay, we were looking to pump in literally 200 million immediately in the summer transfer window to spend big on the team. And we have experience working with football clubs previously. Of course, they've been quite successful with Al Nassr in the Saudi League, and they have experience in building new stadiums as well too, which is something that will definitely have to be addressed, because Stamford Bridge needs some updates, needs to be completely just revamped. We're not taking advantage of our market appeal at this point in time, and the stadium's just too small for our ambitions at this point in time. The Saudi media group were reported to be a bit, unhappy behind the news because there wasn't enough clarity behind why their bid was not accepted. However, I guess not all hope is lost. Their plan currently is, of course, to work alongside any of the winning consortium bids by the club and hopefully try and buy some shares, of course, to have some stake in ownership. So essentially, they are not in the running at this point in time. Now, moving on to Nick Candy, his blue consortium effort was turned down. Now, of course, he hoped to raise just like a crazy investment group, even bringing on board rich businesswoman Catalina Lim as well too. However, they are not expected to progress to the next round anymore. Their bid did not meet the shortlist demands, but him and Catalina, similar to the Saudi media group, they're still hoping to try and work alongside the winning consortium bids. So of course, try and find some stake in ownership with the club. For me, I guess I never really wanted Nick Candy to take control. I felt like some of the PR efforts from them was a bit, it was a bit cross in that sense. The day before winning bids were going to be announced to go through to the next round, that's when Catalina Lim is, for me, kind of like desperately, making social media accounts to just get as much cheap fan engagement as possible. I think that told me that fans play a big part in deciding, who the successful owners are going to be. And I guess every winning party wants to make sure they have the fan support behind them, because I guess potentially that's going to boost their efforts, of course, in winning the bids and buying our club. But anyway, after hearing some of the proposals, keeping the current management structure, looking to just invest money into the squad for the summer, it felt a bit hollow to me. Me personally, this talk of money, it's not that exciting. I don't personally feel like we need to buy like 7 or 8 players to improve the team. And I feel like a lot of the business we can do will involve just moving on players that don't really suit us, which means that we can cash in on them and reinvest the money from the sales into signing new players. So just throwing 200, 300 million, whatever money you want, doesn't really make a difference unless you want to do mad things like spend like 150 million like a Declan Rice. Rice is a sick player. He's going to be world class, but no one is worth 150 million to me. With Candy's close ties to the Conservative government as well too. I mean, we all saw the photos alongside him, Sean Boehly, and many other people as well too, having their office parties when everyone was in lockdown as well too. I'm a bit unsure behind, his motives at the end of the day. Of course, Stamford Bridge is on lucrative lands. A property investor like him that's become a billionaire, that's from a family of lucrative property investors too. You can imagine that there's a lot of money they can make from that. And ideally, that's the main thing they want to take control of. But I don't know, for me, I only care about what happens on the field. And I want to make sure that whoever's going to buy the club has those same ambitions as well too. And I guess the most controversial party, the Ricketts family, we still don't know what their current position is at this point in time. Have they gone through to the next rounds? We don't know. Are they still hoping to find a way to get in there? We don't know, but I think it's quite obvious that all of us fans do not want owners like this. In my opinion, the family, just a family of just generational wealth, billionaires, I kind of feel like they're like the embodiment of all things wrong with America, in my opinion, just like super right wing. I mean, we've seen the dads, so many comments, Islamophobic comments, Muslims are the enemy. I've seen clips of this guy talking about not even caring about sports at all, but only caring about the money, business and profitability from that. And of course, the Chicago Cubs, the baseball team owned by the Ricketts family, they are incredibly frustrated with their owners. so much controversy surrounding them. Originally when they bought the baseball club, they do all the cheap, easy things. You want to win the fans over very easily. Let's just throw them as much money as possible. And success did come. They did win the World Series for the first time in over 100 years. But ultimately, those efforts at the start became very hollow in the end because investment, of course, has now not been put into the team. It seems like they have no real ambitions to improve them. The fans aren't happy whatsoever. And I guess ultimately that is my fear, because with a lot of people are hoping to, do business to own a football club, most of the times they are thinking of the financial gain and profitability. That is the reality of the world we live in. Fans will come second. I understand that, but I just don't want it to be as egregious, And I feel with the Ricketts family, not only with their, controversial views, their racist views, their lack of commitment to actually building sports teams as well too. This is a family that should not be owning Chelsea Football Club. I mean, recently we've been one of the leading clubs now in Europe that has been leading the fight against racism, sexism so much. I mean, we're a very diverse club. So to, kind of tarnish everything that Roman and the club have done over the years in bringing in inclusivity into the games, to sell to a family like this, for me, would be absolutely unforgivable. They don't hold or stand for any of our values, and they can release as many PR statements as they want. It won't change a thing. I mean, of course, the Chelsea Supporters Trust, they've been holding meetings with all these potential parties as well too. I feel like some people have been quite harsh surrounding them. I think we have to be a bit mature. Of course, they need to listen to all prospective parties in the bid. No matter how controversial they are, you have to be an adult about these things and go about discourse in the right way. But of course, they released a statement, of course, confirming that they should not be the party, of course, by the football club. As they tweeted, the CST still has concerns about the ability of the Ricketts family to run an inclusive, successful club. If they are unable to address these and gain confidence of supporters, we do not believe it would be in the best interest of our members for the bid to succeed. You guys will be, of course, an attachment on the file alongside if you want to read the full statement from them. So logically, if they do go through to the next round, which I wouldn't be surprised by, essentially, we could be in a position where there could be a bidding war where the value of bids will just increase and increase and increase by the final parties in the end. So, just because the Ricketts family could potentially go through doesn't mean I feel like they'll be the favourites to buy the club. Not only do I think that the head of the Ricketts family and Joe Ricketts, not only is he a bit of an issue, a bit of a problem, but I think it's also his kids and the rest of his family as well too, that all of course share those same ideals and principles. So absolutely not. I'm just looking forward to reading the articles saying that these guys won't be in the running. So I guess currently that leaves us with this mysterious buyer that's literally just been announced. Who could that be? We'll find out soon. Todd Boehly, of course, and Sir Broughton and his group as well. I think Todd Boehly is very, very interesting. I think he has a history actually of, knowing exactly how to run a team, knowing the right type of data analytical tools and strategies to be able to make a team successful. So I think, this guy definitely has potential, in my opinion. Sir Broughton and his group as well too. Quite interesting. Of course, Sir Broughton was like the former chairman of British Airways. Their group does include Lord's Co. and the backings of billionaires Josh Harris and David Blister, who own like franchise sports teams in America. I guess the only pickle for them is the fact that, Josh Harris and David Blister currently owns a combined 26% stake in Crystal Palace. So I guess they'd have to sell those shares first before they'd be allowed to, of course, bid. Due to conflicts of interest, you can't just have rich guys owning, every club in the country. That would obviously make no sense. And who knows, maybe potentially working out deals where Crystal Palace, they're not being our feeder club, because the way guys like Gallagher and Gurley are playing, would that even be a bad thing, to be honest? But regardless, you guys, it's interesting. Just to give my conclusions now to end this video. Todd Boehly, the Broughton Group, and this mysterious bidder. It's believed, rumors are suggesting that it could be Steve Ballmer, which could be mad. Steve Ballmer is like a giant of a man. It's like nearly like 2 meters, which is crazy. Of course, he used to be the CEO of Microsoft, and his, combined net worth is believed to be around $97 billion. Now, that doesn't mean he has 97 billion in his bank account. It don't work like that. But he is the owner of the Clippers, the LA Clippers, and he does have experience behind working with teams and improving them as well too. So it's very interesting to see what's going to happen. Before I go, another update did come out surrounding Nick Candy. I'm guessing now he's like definitely out of the running to have any part of the club. It came out that the Korean group that was working alongside him have parted ways with him currently. So I guess whatever his strategy was of going onto Twitter to try and get fan support did not work. Definitely backfired, and I'd imagine they feel quite embarrassed by how everything kind of ended out in the first place. I don't know much about Baumer. I think it's too soon to be signing him in my opinion, but we'll find out once more information does come through, and let's see what we find out. So you guys, I'm going to wrap things up, keep things moving, and release more videos tomorrow. I'm the EFC, this is Blue Lion CV. I'll catch you guys later. Cool.